We came up with this formulation, which most of the people think, oh, dog doesn't eat fish, but it really works. There's also a myth that cats love fishes, but actual sense, they don't love fishes. They love chicken.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tagit. The Indian pet industry probably reached its tipping point during COVID. Till that time, it was like a lazy, slow, not really talked about at all segment. While the COVID gave it a significant boost. And as we talk today in 2026, every second post that I see on LinkedIn has something to do with the pet industry. Today's guest is someone who has been involved in the Indian pet industry since the last 33 years, out of which she spent practically a significant amount of that time working with leaders such as P&G, Mars, Beck. These are all into the pet side of their businesses. And in fact, way back in 2003 is when she launched P&G's pet food product in India. I'm absolutely delighted to get Dr. Vaishali Vishnoi, who's also a vet by profession, into this discussion.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for bringing me in. And I think it'll be great talking to you today. And also for me, it's a privilege, speaking to you. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, Vaishali, all the way getting into the first question. One breath, tell us something about yourself.
Okay, so about me, I am a very fun-loving person, a very, very friendly person, and I love music, I love dancing, and eating good food. And that's something which is about me. And also, something very important about me is that I am always there for friends or for people who are in need. I am very passionate about pets. I love pets. I've grown up with pets all my life. And that's it. And that's how I see myself growing old. Probably maybe few years down the line, I should have a farmhouse and a couple of pets to take care, maybe a horse also.
Vaishali, getting into my plush paws, tell us something about it, one breath.
As I said, passionate about pets and with 23 years of experience. This plush paw was born simply because after spending so many years, I had this experience of being a veterinarian and also being a nutritionist. I basically thought that, I have to bring to the market something which basically will fill the gap about what the pet parents need. So, what I saw was that there were a lot of products which were with fillers, low quality ingredients, and with the demand of pet parents increasingly wanting something very clean for their pets. I came up with this understanding that, or this, that this was an envision for me that I should bring in something which is basically human grade and which has something functional ingredients and also nutraceutical ingredients which will be good for the pets without no additives, nothing is there. Very clean, very transparent, very true to the label what we are reading. So, Plush Paws is all about no fillers, no fully 100% transparent and a nourishing meal for the pets.
So, Vaishali, let me get to some of the business aspects of the pet food piece. And, I've seen a lot of discussions around the shelf life of products for human products. And, the general tendency is unless you don't have a 6 months shelf life, there's a challenge. How does that translate in the pet world?
In the pet world, usually you will have a shelf life from 18 months to 24 months. In pet food, even if the shelf life, the pet food crosses the shelf life, it doesn't go bad. It's still, but the nutrient value goes down. So the shelf life is very important. Now, the products which we are making, retort is a way of packaging in which the product goes through the formulation process and then it is made. And then the pouches which we use, they are all sterilized, autoclaved, and the process is such that the product is filled in the pouches, and then there is a resting period of about 15 days, which is about 2 weeks, in which if there is any bacterial growth in the products will swell up. So, which indicates the product is not good to go in the market. And so they discard all those products which have swollen up, and then the products which are in good structure and way are sent to the market. So the whole process is such that there is no preservatives which are used, and since these are all high protein diets, so one has to be very careful with them. And the moment we open it, because they get exposed to the air, and air has a lot of bacteria and other things, so we have to feed the animal. If the packet is used fully, then it will be discarded. If you have only consumed half of the packet, you can seal the packet and keep it in the refrigerator for 48 hours. So it is still good to go for next 48 hours in the refrigerator. But outside, it is good to go for 24 months without being opened. So the whole process comes under retort technology. It's a new of its kind, and it's doing well. It's easier for people going on travel. They can carry the pouches
Mm.
with them. Also, if you are going on a holiday or the help didn't turn up, you haven't made anything, you're not well, just open the pouch and give it to the animal. So, I just want to show you the pouches look like this.
Mm.
This is a retort
Wow,
pouch. It is
got it.
completely sealed. You can just keep it anywhere, and it's good for 24 months. Nothing will happen. No smell, nothing. Even vegetarian houses, you won't feel anything. It's just lying in some corner.
So I maybe very basic question really, but very curious to know, do cat and dogs have the same food or they have different food, and is there different nutrition requirements for both segments?
So both are carnivorous, but the cat is an obligate carnivorous, so she doesn't need a carbohydrate diet. To answer your question, both can have the same diet. The only difference is that the cat will need 100% meat protein. If you don't give her rice or any other carb, which is she's good to go. The additional thing which we need to add for the cats is taurine, because for their beautiful eyes. And rest, if you say, they can have the same kind of food: chicken, fish, pork, beef, everything they can take.
So in your product solution, are there different sets for cats and dogs, or it's the same thing that then gets, depending on the pet that you have, you will have to then do the last mile thinking as to what is the final diet to be given?
On the basis of a natural requirement, because as I said earlier, that we do special foods with nutraceutical, and we do it with collagen. So we are the only company or entrepreneurial venture, we do the product with collagen. So it's like a daily ritual in which we have fortified the product with collagen, which is for skin and coat and for the joints. So for dog, we do a biryani, which is called as chicken biryani. So it's a combination of brown rice and chicken and some veggies. In the cats, we do fish biryani, even though biryani comes with the concept of rice. But for cats, we do it without any rice. So it's only chicken and fish together. Then, apart from that, we do some other meals as well. Now, we do these as meals. These are not gravies. There's a lot of difference, and people tend to confuse between a gravy and a meal. A meal is something which is 100% complete. You don't need to feed the pet anything else apart from this.
Mm.
But when it
Mm.
comes to a gravy, it's basically made up of offals and the remaining from the slaughterhouses and the poultry industry, and has a lot of fillers and are not good for the pets. So a meal is complete, and that's what we make. Then we also do a fish and rice formulation for dogs, because a lot of skin allergies in dogs have been seen over couple of period, and also it has been seen that they are getting allergic to chicken. So we came up with this formulation, which most of the people think, oh, dog doesn't eat fish, but it really works. I have couple of vets who swear by my product and say we have to use the fish and rice formulation. It works very well, and obviously you can give some medications also if there is a skin problem, but if there is a chicken problem, then you can give a fish and rice formulation. Then something like, we have a chicken formulation for cats. There's also a myth that cats love fishes, but actual sense they don't love fishes, they love chicken. So this is the things. When you're an entrepreneur, you tend to make products, you send them in the market, and then you understand the need of the pets. That's what I love, the whole concept about it, that I live it every day. So that's how we have differentiated our products. Now we are also coming up with some broth, but then everything will have some special nutraceutical in it. We would not give a separate broth only for hydration. The broth would have a combination, something for joint. Then for cats, it will have something for urinary calculi, which is a very um, day-to-day problem in cats.
Does the diet change also based on the age, or practically it's something that they eat more or less of the same thing?
So the quantity and the protein will change a bit.
Hmm.
So when it's a puppy, the protein will be high and the quantity will be less, because they won't be able to have, and they will eat multiple times. As the pup, from 0 to 12 months, just to make it simpler, will have the amount of feeding will change. When they are adult, then the protein comes down, because they are now on a maintenance phase after 12 months, and the protein also will come down, and the amount of feeding will go up, because obviously they are gaining weight, and they are aging in age. So that is the only difference which happens. And when they are young, their requirement for calcium, phosphorus, protein, magnesium, all these things are higher. So majorly the pet parents are very careful during the first 12 months. And that is when is the time, is the important growing time for the pets. And you should be very careful what you're feeding to your dog and cat and the kitten. Later on, you can always put them on a maintenance diet.
Traditionally, I've also seen some of the houses who actually at the end of the day, whatever is the leftover from what they have eaten is given to the pets. So we have that, I'm assuming, at one end of the spectrum. And the other end of the spectrum is what you're talking about: nutrition, about the type of food they need, and how that really impacts their overall well-being, including allergies, the skin, and everything to do around it. Where do you see the Indian pet parent right now in this between these two spectrum? Where are they? And what is really required for them to move up the entire awareness curve?
I'll just go back couple of years back, when I used to work for Procter. And when I used to go in the market, because when I came up with the first food, which was in 2003 from the IM's company, it was that time India had only Pedigree, and they had Royal Canin. So Pedigree was for the masses, which was from Mars, and Royal Canin was a separate entity, and it was for a premium pets. And then we came with Eukanuba and IAMS in 2003. And that time, I remember Mars used to do a wonderful job of conversion from home cooked food to bringing the conversion to commercial food. They used to do a lot of educating people, doing seminars and educating the vets why these foods should be given. And then from that, the time has changed. Now what we are talking about vet food and expensive stuff. So I would still say that people are very they still do not understand this concept of giving a commercial food. They still don't understand why they should be giving a meal to their pet. A gravy is good enough to give a rice or a roti, and
Mm.
my dog is good on a rice and a roti and dahi and vegetables.
Mm.
So their nature, the pets, their nature is they come from the wild,
Mm.
and it's their nature how they have to be fed. So they have always been carnivorous, and they should be fed carnivorous diet, and that is good for their system, their whole internal setup. Now this as a entrepreneur, and also for other people also, the most important thing for us is to educate the people. We should, rather than competing between our own selves and different pet food on margins and etc., I think we should put in more force towards educating people and telling them why a commercial food or a vet food is good for your pet rather than giving a home cooked food. So there is a lot of work which has to be done in Indian pet market. Lot of education has to be done, and I think the big companies should come back and start working on the grassroots level of talking about education, educating people, holding seminars and telling them why home cooked food is not good for their pets, and the commercial food what we are giving, which is nutritionally balanced, fully amino acid balanced, you know that's what has to be given on the basis of their nature.
Vaishali, I was just curious to understand what is the percentage, if you talk about the pet food market right now, how would you describe the overall landscape into, say, home cooked food vis-a-vis commercial food, vis-a-vis wet food?
If we take as a total of 100%, so about 60 to 65% pet owners still feed home cooked food, or maybe they do mixing. So they'll do a little bit of commercial and a little bit of home cooked food, but their basic intent is that the dog, the pet, has to be given home food, ghar ka khana, because they think what is good for them is good for the pet. So if we
Mm.
can eat it, why can't the pet also eat? So same carrot and everything. So that's one concept. And then we have commercial food, which basically comes to then 25 to 30%, and 3 to 5% will be about wet food, and then we have about 5% plus should be treats. But so this is the breakup majorly. And if we see the dog food market, the commercial market, so 75 percent is the dry food market. And then we have 10 to 15% is the wet food market, and then there would be treats also coming into it. So that's how the segregation is. So going back to
Got
what
it.
I said, that we need companies to come forward and educate people to change their mental setup and thinking from home cooked food to commercial food.
I've seen whenever I go to friends who have dogs, they have the tendency of giving treats out to them for everything that they want their dog to be doing. And is that really healthy? Because somewhere, just from a human perspective, I see that treats is like the snacks that you are giving in between two meals, which for humans is not really healthy beyond a point. How does it work as far as animals are concerned?
So it's the similar concept. So treat is a treat. So it's like having a biscuit or having like a small short bar or So if you see in our human household, if kids did something, we would give a toffee. So if you replace it with a pet, if the pet does something good, you give a treat. Or maybe there's a lot of boredom throughout the day, you give a treat.
Yeah.
So it's not food, it's not very healthy, but one treat a day is good enough, because treats are not made up of very healthy ingredients.
Just moving out of that and moving to the next question, really, one big learning that you've had so far in your 3 years entrepreneurial journey.
The biggest learning which I have, you know, perceived that it is a very difficult journey to be an entrepreneur. All these years when you are working on a different side of the table, it is very easy. And all the people who want to become an entrepreneur, because what happens when you are on that side of the table, when you're working for someone else, everything, all systems are in place. There is a team, everything is taken care, and you feel I can do this. Everything, it's on you. It's everything is happening. You're giving 100 out of 100 numbers. Everything is good. But when you become an entrepreneur, then it's the real learning. Then you know that you are the team, you are everyone. You have to take all decisions, and the decisions all have to be right, because if one mistake, then what is going to happen. So, what I would say, my learning is that this side of the table is not easy. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to have this strong heart and strong perseveration in yourself. And you have to be very, very strong, and you have to stand strongly, and you have to be there
Yeah, I
as much
completely
as.
second that, have gone through the same and completely second that, in fact, well put. Vaishali, coming to the last question, really, where do you see my plush pause 8 months from now and 8 years from now?
Over the next 8 months, my focus would be on strengthening the foundation and the distribution. So currently, if I am in 20 stores now, 20 states now, I would prefer to be in more than doubling the number. And that's what instantly I would see. So I want to strengthen my distribution, which is the need of the hour, because the more you are available everywhere, the people tend to pick up the product. If you are not available in the store, how will the sales come? So,
Got it.
so that's what in the 8 months instantly I would want. And also, I would want to increase the lineup, the little more SKUs in the market. And in the next 8 years, I basically am looking at, being global, uh, which obviously over the period of time would be a great thing to do. So you are respected in your own country, you have a brand and you are known for it, and then you are global. So that shows that you have done some good work in the market. So that's what I'm looking at.
Super. Vaishali, we've known each other for over 10 years. And what really excites me when I talk to you is the simple passion that you bring as far as anything to do with pets is concerned. And glad to see you've really found your calling, where now you directly are impacting that space, which till date you were, doing that, but if I say in an indirect manner. And I have no doubts in my mind that given the vantage point that you have, your background as a vet, being a nutritionist, and uh, working in the pet food market specifically with the giants, I have no doubt that it would be extremely successful. And before I end, I want to thank you for all your support you've given to Tagate in especially in creating our pet tracker line, and greatly appreciate your guidance at every stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here. And obviously, I'm looking forward to be, remembered as an entrepreneur who basically changed the mindset of the thought process of uh, people thinking about vet food. That's what I'm eyeing at. And these platforms, like what you have created, will give us the space to talk about what we think, and we don't get, small entrepreneurs don't get opportunity to talk about it. Thank you very much for your support, and I wish you all the best, and I know Tagate will rock it.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Catch up soon. Bye.
Thanks.